how? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, dear me. So, you've noticed, I see. But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Miss Susato? You turn as white as a sheet. This autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo, the one from 10 years ago, the writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all. Huh? Well, what do you mean? How should she possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. This writing, it's my father's. What? Professor Mikitoba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all this mean, Mr. Sholmes? It is the idea that's slowly forming in my mind. It's just too extraordinary to believe. Hey, Susie, here's your little sister. Please, you have to explain. So, this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikitoba, then? That makes no sense. It's not possible, surely. Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray, take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikitoba engaged? Of course! He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. As assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document. The signature does not matter in the end. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson? But then she compared this to... Which is very understandable, of course. We're missing the other implication here. She compared this writing to come to the conclusion that, yes, Daddy wrote it. What a complicated situation. Professor Mikitoba actually penned the report. Interesting. So, thinking about it, most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris. We really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. So what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not? You've come straight to the point, I see. And please come straight to the answer. I'm anything but straight, Miss Mikitoba. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade and the only person I could truly have called a friend. Did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam. Absolutely. And Iris matched the writing on the autopsy report to the writing on his case notes, and concluded that John H. Wilson was her daddy and Mr. Sholmes' partner. But if the writing on the autopsy report is Professor Mikitoba's, then... Watson here? So, where's your partner now? Resting upstairs, unconscious. We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. Ha 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 ha. But if this autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, if the autopsy report was written, though not signed by your famous partner, then does it make a lot more sense why Sholmes putzes around and tries to get us to participate in his dances of deductions with him? He's not a complete dolt. He can lock in when he needs to, but he flubs around a little bit to get us to do the dance with him. There would be only one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Yujin Mikotoba. In other words, Miss Susato's father. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. You mean to say? Allow me to introduce you. Hey, to my great friend and partner, Mikotoba. Ah! Professor Mikotoba! My boy. But does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson? No, my dear. I'm still my old self, Yujin Mikotoba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Susato-san to take in. I must say, though, my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Pray remind me, when was it again, Mikotoba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Oh yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Genshin. I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital, some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. But rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings at the expense. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective you see before you now. I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. The situation of our cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Science and medicine? Hard to believe it was a mere 6 years ago. We had a great many adventures. The last year of Mikotoba's stay in Britain, that most infamous of cases presented itself. A case with which you've become rather familiar yourselves, the Professor killings. The Hound of the Baskervilles. After the trial, Seishiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising given the circumstances. Oh, there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing. Professor Mikotoba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. Father? Goodness, my dear, what a cutting look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you were the great detective's great partner. Now, yes, we have to answer the question of, is Iris actually your daughter, or is Iris just misunderstanding? I don't actually know the answer, but nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now. And that is? You know very well what it is. The unresolved matter of Iris's father. Of course, I'd almost forgotten about that one. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest are written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes? That is indeed what I told young Iris. Not that it's correct. But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you. Ah! On my word, Miss Susato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. What? What you've always told me, Father. It's my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain. And I've always accepted that, but all this about Iris. Ooh, there it is. Susato-san's ice-cold stare. No, now hold on a minute. It was very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. And perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. There it is. Let the eyes go from ice-cold to red-hot just before she... No, really, you've got the wrong end of the stick. Sholmes, say something, man. No, I'm just gonna let you suffer. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Sholmes? When did he get all dressed up? Probably put his jacket back on. Well, I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past. Bigatoba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. It's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madame, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So get your coat, Bigatoba. The game is afoot. But Mr. Sholmes, I really must give Susato a full explanation, I think. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really. I visit our home after 10 long years. When I open that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plunged straight into all of this. Father, please. Go with Mr. Sholmes now. What? I have no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you, completely. And if not, I know 1004 submission holds I can put you in to make you suffer for your crimes. Susato? I'm sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together. My fandom outweighs my concern for your indiscretions. It's more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo. Good luck in battle, and in reaching a decision. Decision? About whether to go back to Japan, I suppose.
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself. It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth. And that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
Oh, I remember what the final case is called. And this is a fitting lead into that then. Less a final case and more of a final chapter, because it's just the continuation of this. That lines up perfectly here. The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Consider that a preamble to this. there's no... Yeah, there's no cool title card here. This is just... straight into it. Ooh, remix? So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. Miss Susato? Ah! What? Oh no! Oh, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course! I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but oh, Susie, please. I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Oh, Susie's got a lot on her mind. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all. That's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective, not to mention... good morning, sir. Lord Van Zeeks? That's right, you're here too. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all of this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Prince Relentless Spirit returned as some sort of demigod. Wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yeah, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. Didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, that portrait looks evil. In some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes, that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. The highest possible compliment from this man. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Iris? Hi. Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. Everyone's feeling awkward. I brought you one of my special blends. Early loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled after having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sitt's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Ah! You're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Is that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Hairly to me, but shh. For some reason you completely ran out of options in the trial today. Then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. Think you might need it. Interesting. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal. Yes, it would seem. A certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What up, Mr. Sholmes, Ivis? I don't know. He was out all night and he hasn't come back home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikitoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Zato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once.
Good luck there, Bruno. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Ivis. And you too, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. I am not the Reaper. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad! Must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks. Let's see what he's got set up for us. Lord Van Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Cosma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. I knew exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Here we go. Do you remember? No gallery. Feels even more oppressive. Oh no, there's a gallery. It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look! Lord Strongheart. Oh. Cosmo must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Oh. Super gavel. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. No. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Baroque Van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Oh boy. Counsels for the prosecution and the defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? Defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. In those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daly Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification, present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, but in fact he wasn't. As a point of note that, surely, if you showed someone a picture of Gregson and said, hey, was this him? People might go, hey, wait a sec, no, that ain't him. But then again, the whole deception and the fake alibi would fall apart. But this is a time when photographic prints are just coming into parlance here. They're not. It's like Gregson's ID is not a photo ID. Keep that in mind. If he has an ID that says Tobias Gregson in it, then he's Tobias Gregson. And the average everyday layman, when asked, "Did you see a detective named Tobias Gregson here?" They say, yeah, there was a dude with the ID that said Tobias Gregson, and in the story. Like, average everyday parlance man is not going to beat the real Tobias Gregson. Unless, there's a non-zero chance it happens. And parlance man meets alibi Gregson and real Gregson and goes, wait a second. But that's a low enough probability in a city like London that you can acknowledge that, yes, if it happened, the whole deception would fall apart, but why is that a deal breaker to this holding up? For the sake of the story, it didn't happen in any meaningful way. If it did happen, there's obviously some degree of corruption that could be used to cover up that fact. Assuming that people in Scotland Yard actually knew about his shit. And did some shit. To cover Gregson's tracks here. If you follow what I'm putting down here. There's a whole other discussion we could have involving the, Hugh Boone being Vigil and not Gregson. And how that came out, but I don't really feel like having that discussion. And I doubt we're gonna see the Red-Headed League again either. They were a bit of fun comic relief for what they were, but we're in the serious business now. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories at the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as the chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Visual is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. Defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday just to discuss the issue. He confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Dr. Gregson was killed on 31st October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. Did you already update our autopsy report? We're gonna get an updated autopsy report. I mean, it might just be this. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday. The time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seemed that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. It's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. Court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Dr. Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. Conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. Asogi's whole deal with this thought path is that it leads into more Reaper-related shit. And he's of the mind that Van Zeeks is still giving orders to Gregson as the Reaper. So they still could have killed him yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. The prosecution calls its first witness now, said Van Zeek. Gina? Gina! State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade, reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? For reals this time. What's your problem, model? What's with that Gina? Again? Look, eh? Read my thoughts. Boss meant the world to me. He'd done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh? Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Told me that life can have a purpose. Oh, that's why. I'm the best person to be standing there speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday it was revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. But coming right up, sir. Victim's movements. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. A little search at the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a lot of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. I think it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, his witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. We know... We know that Van Zieks found Gregson's little blue book and was like going through places on there. That's how he found the whole Fresno Street place. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. On the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. Ah, that's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. I wonder if that's a reference to the Diogenes Club. That can't be. You haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. With no question, the accused, Baruch Van Zieks, was present. Although the point of the Diogenes Club is that, like, you're supposed to mind your own business and not give anyone else the time of day. But if Baruch Van Zieks was not a member of the club, then maybe they would testify to the fact that he was there. That would be very significant testimony, then. Oh my! But Lord Van Zieks has made no mention of this, at all. In short, Lord Van Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. But he has, kind of. He has said that he was following Gregson's movements. So he very well could have just not told us about this specific club. Very well then, counsel of the defense, begin your cross-examination. So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. Above all that, see? Ah! Oh! The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub. That kind of thing. So, errands more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. Hold it! So you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yep, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I stuck it into his office when no one else was about. So if anyone at the Yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out onto the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. And it hid in one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So I went to hide myself where no one could find me so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. So anyone at the Yard found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out onto the street. Ah. I've given it in now, though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would never have been found. Good lass. Smuggled goods dealings that day. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember. I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could, too. Got this reading game buttoned up now. Yeah! Good girl. Can't I show you what I can do? Go on. What's the harm? Judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? What are you gonna do? Penalize me? This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. Prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. Prosecution has no objection. Ooh. Cosmo? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. The defense requires to know the club's name. The prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Yeah. Apparently, the smuggled good deal we're gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Oh, darn. Alright. Do we know a grouse? What's in here again? Let's have a look inside. This was something. I forget what it is. Look, something inside. Ooh, let's see. Used to be a oh yeah, the passport authorizing him to travel overseas. October, one day before the... The Grouse.
Hold it!
The Grouse? What sort of a club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I'm kinda curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? I tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. I don't think they'd let in kids either. Could you, though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could get what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings are going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower-ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower-ranking detective. The Grouse.
Hold it!
So why was Gregson going there? How had Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's a question, ain't it? I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club, no question. Can't say that for certain, though, surely. What do you mean, surely, Otto?
Hold it!
Lord Van Zieks was at the club. Clubbing it up. He was. Detectives visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Elmer report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Looks like there's no disputing that he was there, then. And Van Zieks definitely has had his photo in the newspaper, so they could show his photo off here and there. We know that Lord Van Zieks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? And now that I think about it, we do actually have a photographic print of Gregson, but it was in his office. And, like, not readily available for Scotland Yard to go taking around to shit and saying, hey, is this guy Hugh Boone? No? Okay. Perhaps he'd already discovered the inspector's secret notebook. He said he did. He literally said he did. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. I swear, I'm not going crazy here. He has said that that's how he discovered the Fresno Street place. Presumably then there were also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. Someone tell me I'm not crazy. He has said that in the previous trial. None of identified at the time, no. So we don't actually know Gregson was there. The all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi! Why aren't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh? Well, that's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? And her little pout. I really don't know what to make of all this. Though that Lord Van Zieks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson. He never once mentioned that he'd met the inspector the day before the incident. I don't think Lord Van Zieks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh, everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true. There must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean, there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. She's told us the name of the grouse. That's what we should be looking for here.
Hold it!
Okay, so we... I don't think that's relevant anymore, but it's still in the court record. We haven't complete... Wait, hold on. Can we examine this? Police business, permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Within 1 week from 31st October. Huh. We're just fiddling around here. So we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. His badge number's 997, and she has a badge that also is number 997. Is she just flaunting his badge? Oh my god. Find your identification number details all correct as well. None of this really is Inspector Gregson's identification. details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? Even from 10 years ago, it was browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, the same red-headed league advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene, too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the red-headed league, then? No, he wasn't. Steamship ticket. SS Grouse, first class cabin 001. Oklahoma departure, 11th September. London arrival, 1st November. Grouse. Grouse. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Migatoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. France. And he had... It's a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary, and I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Does this say... SS Grouse. There's an actual club called the Grouse. That's our only lead right now. Okay, let me present the ticket here.
Objection!
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they are places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Oh, Gregson read it in the book and went to the club, the Grouse. Well, no, not Gregson. Van Zieks read it in the book and went to the club, Grouse. Well, Gregson had the passport and took the steamship, Grouse. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? Police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. I'm sorry to say, they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean, that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. It wasn't a gentleman's club. Then what was it? A steamship? You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man has not in the least been turned over. Untrustworthy. Turn over. Yeah, the other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. The other side, it says Mia. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for a passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with a club. I'm afraid to say there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. Ah. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, the ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging. The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. That's his passport. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st November.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Ugh. Is that the same Van Ziek's damage animation? Order! Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived in Dover. It docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. Who could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? Alright. The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. The day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? Now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? Uh-oh. Courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess, that was her intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. Ooh. The Reaper? Order. Order. What are you saying, counsel? Prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. In reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Alright, who's he? Broke Van Ziek's never carried out any of the actual killings. It means we still have a murderer to find. That isn't Brogue Van Ziek's. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson. What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. And even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Ziek's. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Brogue Van Ziek's is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. Even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, suggesting that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh? You have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. The day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Unless Gregson was. Professor Mikitoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. His mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. Huh? What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. It doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying! And if all them bludgers got taken out at coming, the boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. He may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. And testify again, as representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I don't... I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Oh, Gina. We will do this next time.